Okay, we're back in the phase 1 section here, and I just want to dig into a couple of the actual lessons so we can see what they look like. And as I showed in the other video, we've got beginner lessons, acoustic guitar, and then we scroll down and we see beginner lessons, electric guitar, and then each of the teachers, and how many lessons, how long it is. So I'll just pick one here. We'll start with this. Chris Liep or Lippy, whatever, start series. Okay, basic electric guitar with Chris. So it has his biography, experience, what genre he's into, what's inside the lesson set, and then each of the lessons. So I guess it looks like you're supposed to do them one by one. Supposed to do them one by one and in order, and it'll keep track of your progress. So we'll just jump into one and just see how it looks.
Alright, welcome to my beginner lesson series. This is the first lesson. We've done a few lessons already. Carol of the Bells, Where Did You Sleep Last Night, and Heartbreak Hotel. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed some of those. But this is going to be a series dedicated to taking you from never picking up this guitar before to hopefully playing some cool songs and really getting into it. My lessons are going to be primarily focused around the electric guitar, and we'll be getting into not only playing the guitar, but using gear in a way that helps you to capture sounds that you hear on the radio or...
Okay, so anyway, he's talking about some other lessons that were before that, but nice clear videos, and they've got the scenes down here. This is something I didn't really notice at first. It's not all that clear, but there's a little button here, a little slider. You push that and you can see the different lessons rolling over here. Scene 3, parts of the guitar. Scene 5, understanding the fretboard. So that part's a little bit tucked away, and it's not confusing. I mean, it's there, but maybe that was mentioned in the first part and I just skipped over it. But anyway, it could be a little more clear, I think. Let's go look at some of the other ones.
Lesson number 5. Today we're going to be working on single string scales. Before we do that, we're going to look at a way to figure...
Okay, so it's Lipe, Chris Lipe, and digging into scales here, and going through each of the scenes here. Intro, applying the technique, back-to-back practice, backing track guidance and picking, which is kind of cool, but let's just pan around the screen. I didn't do that yet. When you're inside of these lessons, it shows how to get back to his lesson set, how to get back to the home page. You can also just click on the Jamplay logo, and skill level, how long it is, your progress through the specific lesson, and a link to the progress report for the overall progress. And a metronome here, you can change the beats per minute and the overall beats. Nothing fancy, but does the trick. That's great for playing along with scales, for sure. You want to get your picking nice and clean, down up motion, and pick along in time. And then if we scroll on down here, about this lesson, you can print the lesson, go into the forum and discuss it. They go over what's been covered. Sometimes it's easier to see it in print, I find, as well, when you can see what you're going to learn or what you should have learned from it, the theory of sharps and flats, notes on the neck, learning the scales, etc. Supplemental content, let's see what that is. One string major scales, lesson notes, and audio of the lesson. So you can just play it back or play along with it. More from a lesson set. Let's just link to all the lessons that were listed on the first page. My thoughts and notes. So you can keep track of what you thought of the lesson, or notes to remind yourself of certain things. Comment and discuss. So again, just almost like a blog post or blog comments about the lesson. That's about it inside of that one. So now I've just gone into the phase 2, and here it says advanced and genre-specific guitar lessons. So I guess if you're, according to Jamplay, you're either a beginner or you're advanced, which is kind of weird, but their beginner section was very large, as you saw, so it went over quite a lot of stuff from many different teachers' points of view, which is cool. But down here we've got, they've broken it into genres: blues, fingerstyle, metal, Hawaiian, bluegrass, rock, Celtic, classical, country, jazz, funk, and flamenco, which is pretty neat way to lay it out, I think. It's good to go into different genres too. I mean, if you're a metal guy through and through, and you can get into some classical, uh, a lot of great players really do that, and that's what makes them so interesting. You know, they blend things together, like Yngwie Malmsteen blends classical with rock or metal. And that's a great way to differentiate yourself from all the other players that just play the one style. So let's look inside one of these. How about let's jump into rock. So then again, it just goes into each different one of the different teachers. There's our buddy Chris again. And let's see if that takes us through a different series. Okay, so it does take us into a different series. Now he jumps into other more advanced techniques: three on a string scales, pentatonic scales, the caged system, sweep picking. So now, yeah, he's gone from the basics in the other phase 1 into phase 2. So if you found a teacher that you really liked, my thought is you could stick with that teacher and absorb everything from them in the first phase and then the second phase, and then carry on from there. You could go on to a different teacher or a different style or whatever. So I like that. That's pretty good. Now I also want to look at the tab that we saw at the top here, which was skill building. So there's broken down by, let's scroll up here, broken down by genres, like I said, and then into skill building. Okay, so you can get into specific skills. Oops. Or techniques, as it's also called: speed and techniques, tips and tricks. Singing with guitar, that's an important one, especially if you want to get the chicks right. You got to be able to sing. Reading music and rhythms, lead concepts and writing, or concepts and techniques, songwriting, theory and improvisation, 12-string, rhythm, ear training, and recording and miking. It's a very thorough course. Obviously, we've got all these genres and all these different techniques. Now, one thing that's important to notice about these web-based programs like Jamplay versus the CD-based or DVD-based is that they can add stuff to the site all the time. Now, I don't know how this thing started out. It may have only had a few lessons to begin with, and then they've built it over time. I know it's a few years old. So, you know, you sign up for this thing, and chances are if it's missing something, which it doesn't seem to be, then you could submit to them and have things added, like recording and miking. The other DVD courses I've seen haven't had that at all. That's pretty neat. Songwriting, same thing. Singing with guitar doesn't get covered as much as it could be. That's very important, especially if you're going to play in a band or want to write your own music. So then in this view, we're in phase 3, learning a song. So after you've mastered the basics of phase 1 and some intermediate techniques in phase 2, or advanced, as we saw, you can learn songs, or you can just work on songs and jump ahead. Now, when I was started learning guitar, what I found was all I wanted to do was play songs and solos. I didn't want to play scales. You know, I was like 12 or 13 years old, and I didn't care about all the scales and stuff. But now I know how important they were. But while you're learning that stuff, it's important to jump into songs kind of to reward yourself, because it's very fun to be able to actually play things that you can recognize. So let's scroll through these. They've got all kinds of different songs. Santana, Cheap Trick, 3 Days Grace, Nirvana, Megadeth. I don't know if we're in a certain genre here, but no, it doesn't look like it. They're just all jumbled together. So you see the genres: metal, rock, some of the teacher's own songs, bluegrass, folk, metal. And you can also receive an email when new lessons are added. So if you've just a hardcore student and you've learned all the songs you want to learn, you don't have to keep checking this. They can actually let you know when they're releasing a new song. So we'll jump into one here. Let's try 17 by the Hair Farmer's Winger. So just like the other lessons, it's got the window with the metronome and everything. So that's pretty cool to see the rhythm and the lead, because you could be in a two-guitar band and have to learn one or the other. But it's super important to know both, especially so you can know what you're soloing over. So that's pretty neat. Now let's scroll down on the side here. I want to see if it includes any notes, supplemental content. Okay, so yeah, it has the notation in the tab and the chords. So solo page 1, still can't get away from those solos. Just I love that stuff. And Reb Beach is an awesome guitar player, great soloist. And there it is. So there's all the tabs. Now I don't know if you can print it out. You could save the image and print it, put it in your word processor, I guess. But it doesn't look like they have it set so you can print it. They may not have the license to do that. More from this lesson set. Okay, that's out of that song and just into the other songs. Go back to about this lesson. Okay, print this lesson. So if I print that, what does it look like? Not much. Okay, so it doesn't show you the tabs when you go to print it. Either way, that shouldn't matter. You've got the tab right on your screen, and you've got the video right on your screen. You can go over and over, and you can also add these little markers into the video. So if they're playing the solo and you want to be able to find that spot that you're stuck on right away, you can just add the markers and jump to those. So I guess that saves a tree, saves you printing all kinds of stuff, which is another plus to this whole Jamplay thing, is that I used to have binders and binders and binders of tabs that I'd cart around to band practice and stuff, and you just don't have to do that anymore with Jamplay. You can just log in from wherever you are with your computer or laptop and dig into the lessons wherever you left off, which I think is super powerful. That's the kind of the future of learning guitar, I think. So I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next video.